Good Morning Texas Home and Wealth, sponsored by Rodney Anderson with Supreme Lending.
Refinancing can save you money on your monthly mortgage payments if done correctly. But if you don't refinance when conditions are right, it can also cost you a pretty penny. Our mortgage expert, Rodney Anderson, is here this morning to explain if refinancing is the right decision for you. Great to see you.
Good morning, Carrie.
You say that the interest rate isn't everything.
Yeah, it's like, you know what, people always brag, right? They brag about their muscle, right?
You can brag about that.
Yeah, well, no, they brag about their muscles. Hey, look at this, okay? That's what people do. I always ask people, what's important to you about refinancing? Is it ultimately the lowest rate? So you have the bragging rights to all your coworkers. I got 3%, I got 3.5%.
Right.
And where people make mistakes is especially in paying points. Points are monies that you pay up front to buy your interest rate down. So let's say you're borrowing $200,000. You're paying $2,000 for 1 point to buy your rate down 0.25%. It's one of the worst mistakes that people will ever make. But I saw a client the other day on a 15-year fix. By God, they had to have 2.99. So they paid 3.25 points on a $200,000 loan. They paid $6,500. And Carrie, it was one of the worst mistakes they will ever make.
Kind of goes into my next question, because some people actually offer a better rate but with worse terms.
Yeah, you have to ask yourself, depending on, do you have 5% equity? Do you have 10% equity? If you have excellent credit, you may be able to take a little bit higher on the rate and have no PMI on the mortgage, so which ends up being better terms than some of the other loans that are offered out there.
Makes perfect sense. So should we be shortening or lengthening the life of our loan?
Well, I always recommend you try to shorten your term. If you're on a 30-year loan and you've been paying for 4 years, look at a 20-year or a 15-year. The only time I recommend people go backwards is, for example, I had a lady the other day that was 62 years old set to retire soon. And she said, Rodney, I want to get my mortgage payment a little bit lower. So that would make sense to go back to a 30-year. Or if you've been struggling with your mortgage payments and you need to go down because maybe you have children going to college, something like that. But I always recommend shortening the term, paying off that mortgage, because it's really cool when you don't have a mortgage and you don't have to write that mortgage check every month.
Absolutely, that's so true. Let's focus on the interest rate for a second. A lot of things can impact that.
Man, your credit score is number one, and that is the biggest impact of your interest rate. Also, how much equity do you have in your home, and what type of loan do you have or you're looking for? We do a lot of what's called cash-out refinance. It's real popular because values have gone up, and why pay Visa, MasterCard, or American Express interest anymore? So we have a lot of people doing cash-out refinances. And so what happens on the cash-out refinances is those are dictated by how much you're borrowing and, more importantly, what your credit score is. So there's lots of different avenues out there. There's lots of ways to save money. Rates are moving higher right now, and I tell people, you're going to Alan Greenspan a couple weeks ago said this. He said, get ready, interest rates are moving higher.
And home values are moving higher. So does that impact what kind of refinancing plan we're going to do?
It does, because a lot of people can combine first and second mortgages now. They don't have to have mortgage insurance anymore because their home values have gone up. So yes, it can impact the opportunities that are available. It's just easy, Carrie. Make phone calls to make sure it's right for you, and trust your lender. And you should be able to close a refinance in about 15 days or less.
We love that. You always have great advice, and we want to remind our viewers that they can listen to you on the radio later this morning.
Yeah, Talk Radio 1190 at 11 a.m. And we're going to be giving away today 100 copies of my book, Credit 911. So tune in to Talk Radio 1190 a.m. at 11 a.m. to noon.
Thanks, Rodney. If you want to know more, give Rodney a call. It's 1-800-EXPRESS. You can also log on to RodneyAnderson.com.